Hi everyone. This is Will, aka Dr. Financial Literacy. Today we'll be continuing with part 2 of my HELOC, looking at sections 6 through 10. In the first video, I looked at sections 1 through 5, and again, I'm going through with you the total package that I received from the company in terms in the HELOC, and I'm going through each one of the sections, trying to reread them and just giving you some aspects of it that you may want to consider if you look at getting a home equity line of credit. Okay, so the first section, this next one, number 6, it just was a letter or a page just dealing with the HELOC itself, and it says that if this is a hybrid e-closing, please make sure the borrower has e-signed for immediate funding. And it just had my address, my phone number, my information, the property that I was getting the HELOC on in Atlanta, in the Atlanta metropolitan area. It also had the funding company's name in general. It also had the borrower's name and who the documents would be returned to. And that was what I call section 6 of the contract. Moving to a section that I call section 7. This was the section that just dealt with credit checks. And it just said our signature, we acknowledge the following. All the credit checks will be mailed directly to us. So that was submitted by the creditor. So if they did a credit check on you, then you can request all the credit checks that were performed on you. 2, the lender is not responsible for mailing creditor checks to the designated creditor. Also in this section, I was responsible again for sending out all the checks that the HELOC paid off, which it paid off 1 mortgage, it paid off a car, and paid off 3 loans. I had to mail all those out to the creditors. Creditors can take up to 30 days for the payments. The lender was not responsible if they had to reissue it. The funds cannot be submitted as an ACH, and that's electronic transfers. Okay. A 8th section just dealt with addendum to the closing and instructions, and these were instructions that were provided to the notary when the notary came to my home to notarize the documents. Try to get HELOC. All right. Okay, and again, this HELOC 500. Okay. And I prayed for this HELOC. So even with some of the potentials for this HELOC, this is what I wanted. This is what I wanted to start with. It is what it is, but it will become what I make of it. Also, this one listed the document dates. I signed the documents on the 9th of April. Awesome. Then list the attendees, the borrowers, the address, in general. All right. And what I'm calling the 9th section of the HELOC, further addendum to closing instructions. It just talked about within 1 business day of a disbursement of funds. 3-day right of rescission is applicable. Rescission meaning if I wanted to back out of the HELOC. The lender to credit partial repayments. Entire package will be scanned and mailed to the company because the notary came to my house, we signed it, and then that person was to send it off. I needed 2 forms of ID because of the Patriot Act. Let's see. We looked at the title insurance policy, underwriting, excuse me. And then it lists some of the checks that were to be made. 1 check was to pay off a lien for 303. That was to 1 of the credit cards. It also talked about a lien to the automobile that it paid off for me. and that was $6,289. It also talked about the lien to be paid off for the another credit card, and I don't know why they was calling the credit cards the cars, but that's what they referred to each one of the items. Well, I guess they were liens because the bank was still holding the lien to the car. The bank was still holding the lien to one of the mortgage, but there's no lien on the two credit cards that they paid off. They also paid a $4,000 loan off in general. All those came up to, I think, 46,700. There were about $2,300 in closing costs, and I got maybe like 1,300 or 1,500 in cash in general. And one of the last, or the 10th item that I'm just calling as the 10th section, is specific closing instructions. And these were closing instructions that were provided in general, but it also talked about the terms of the loan. And some of the terms of the loan included that the term is 360 months. The interest rate for the loan, 10.25. The mortgage that was paid off with the loan had a rate of 6.118. And as I mentioned earlier, I will be paying 18% on this HELOC. That's the highest amount that it can go to. So it is twice the rate that I was paying, but according to Velocity Banking Advocates and what I've been through with my credit card, reducing the debt, even at 18% interest, if this was considered an loan line of credit and it was open, I can kind of be a little bit more efficient with it and pay it off quicker. The first payment date is going to be 6/1/24. The last payment date 5/1/54. An interesting fact about the mortgage that was paid off. Today, May the 1st, would have marked 16 years that I had that mortgage, and it was paid off. So I'm the first one to own a home in my family. My mom passed away a couple of years ago. My brother passed away after that. Wish they would have been around to see it. But I was the first one in our family to own a home. And to do it within the 16th year, and also the day of it. All right, so yeah. So a loan. Some of the fees that were associated with it, as I said, came up to $2,360.94. So fees for this HELOC came up to $2,360.94, or about 5% of the loan. Now, if you get a larger loan or a fixed loan, you may not see that amount in terms of closing, but 5% of the loan is what I accepted. I wanted the HELOC because I think I can perform better under the HELOC than the fixed rate mortgage that I initially had. Okay. Some of the closing costs included also points. Points are kind of like money you give the lender early so that I guess they can make more of a profit and reduce their risk. So in this case, it was about 2 points. Now, when you start the process, they probably will include points on your estimates. So it's up to you to know what points are. But generally, they just gonna throw them in, and you should read and understand what points are, but it's the lender probably getting their interest up front. So when I first got the documents, they actually had the points, $1,700. I purchased 4 other properties, so I was familiar with points. I just wanted to get through the process, so I accepted the points. Other HELOCs may have lower the cost, maybe lower across the board. Some companies are doing HELOCs and credit unions are doing HELOCs without any points. I think I went initially to I think Navy Federal. Navy Federal has no points or no closing costs. Also tried I think Discover had no closing costs, I think. So there are a number of companies out there and credit unions that do not have points. So to recap, for this part of today's video, I just wanted to go through 5 additional sections of the HELOC. Yesterday I went through 1 through 5 sections of what I'm calling them. Today I went through 6 through 10. Tomorrow I'll go through 10 through 15, another part. All in all, it was 150 pages, I think. So I'm just trying to break it down. So again, the first page was just funding authorization. Second section dealt with creditors and checks. The third section dealt with addendums to the closing in general instructions, and that was to the notary. Then there was another section, what I call the ninth section, and that included addendum to the closing instructions, and it lists the bills and expenses that was being wiped out as a result of this HELOC. All in all, this HELOC wiped out, I think, I would say $47,000 worth of debt. In addition to that, it took those debt here from $923 a month that I was paying to the HELOC interest only $424. So about $499 a month of cash flow that I will now be a part of my budget. How I use this cash flow, I'm gonna really use it to try to bring down the principal. This whole thing is about principal reduction or lowering your principal. But again, it freed up about $499 altogether. It has a higher interest rate than what I was paying, 10.25, but this is a daily rate compared to a fixed rate in general. So yeah, I just wanted to do a recap and just to say, if you have an opportunity, if you own a home, if you can get a HELOC, look into it. I think it could be beneficial. I think it has worked out well for me, worked out well for my situation. Various communities may be unaware of it. They may be apprehensive about it because of various things that have happened to them in terms of the government and society at large. But thanks again for stopping by. I really appreciate you giving me your time. Have a great day. And if you like to be a client, if I can work with you, my contact information is there. My email is in there. Phone, give me a call. Definitely willing to talk. If you just like to ask a few questions, definitely give me a call and I can get back with you. Pretty much anytime. I'm available. All right. Thank you very much. Have a great day.